I just installed NRatings and I wanted to kind of document what I'm doing. I'm going to have individualized ratings and rosters per race. I'm doing the 1991 season, and the first race that I'm going to do this is at Atlanta. So how we're going to do that, and I did download a new NRatings. This right here is a new to me formula. I think you go to Documents, NRatings, My Formulas, yeah, and just dump it into there. So your PC, Documents, NRatings, My Formulas, and dump it into there, and it should show up into your formulas. And I'll show you my what I did here is I've got Cars CTS and I've got Cars Cup. These are all CTS files, and I don't need that. I'm getting rid of the list files. I don't need the list files anymore. But I've got just master, CTS cars. They are CTS car files. And then I've got .cup car files. And I've gone through, there's 29 races in the 91 season. So I just copied, and if it was a Daytona race, I copied in the CTS files. Because like race 1 is Daytona, and that's CTS files. And I got the 91 season. You need to know what the 91 season is. And I've got that all done right here. And the next plate race is Talladega on event number 9. So Talladega event number 9 should be CTS cars, and they are. See, wherever there's CTS cars, that's going to be a plate race. So, oops, I closed out of it, of course. 91. Okay, so I've got car sets for each race. And what I have to do to get the ratings for each race is race 1, I'm going to rename this just cars. I'm going to drop R1. Okay. And I'm just going to minimize this and bring up NRatings. And I actually want to restart NRatings, because I just dropped that new formula. And that formula is supposed to be for individual races. So I'm going to check it out and try it. Mod 91. And just as a side note, I had to go into my yeah, that is on, isn't it? I had to change my router setting. In my phone, I do mine in my phone. I had to go to port forwarding, and I had to open port 64646 as TCP to allow NRatings to communicate. So I had to go in and open up and reserve this IP for this computer and reserve that port for NRatings. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to have to either comment below. Maybe I'll do something, or you can look it up on the internet, or YouTube, I'm sure, has good explanations of that. Because you would get an error saying that it could not communicate. It couldn't set up a server, a local server or something like that, with that port 64646. So I knew I had to go in, reserve that IP address, and open that port for it to communicate. And now it works, as you can see. So that could be a problem that you'll run into. Choose mod 91, and it's automatically pulling up whatever's named cars in your race folder is going to come up. So this is Daytona. This was R1. So this is Daytona. So I'm going to import from real life data. Scroll down to 1991. choose Daytona. I want to look up, see, we have duper ratings here. Remember, I downloaded that and then I just dumped it into that documents, my ratings or my formulas or whatever. And then, yeah, that is default. And I want to do name and number, because I want to see that it does everyone by name and number. I don't want duplicates, you know, of drivers and stuff like that. So we'll go hit apply. And it did not map number 27, Bobby Hillin Jr. And I don't even have a 27 in here. So I can either just have Bobby Hillin Jr. not in this race, or I can find a Cup 90 number 27 and rename it Bobby Hillin Jr. and put it in there. But, and I can, just really quick, I'll see if I can find I'll see if I can come in here to not in use and see if I can find a number 27. Yeah, it's Rusty Wallace though. He's not going to drive that car. Let's try 92. Is there a number 27 here? There is not. And I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any more on here. So Bobby Hillin, I'm just going to skip that. I'm just going to skip Bobby Hillin Jr. But I want to look. I want to look at the these ratings. Okay. Yeah, these guys are going to be freaking stout. I mean, this is, yeah, I don't know. This is going to be almost too good. Let me see. I want to discard all changes, yes. And I'm going to do it again. We'll try something else. Oops. All the way back down to 91. Yeah, I don't like that because those guys are going to be, it's just, they're going to be too fast. They're going to be untouchable at 100% difficulty. That's not going to work for me. So I don't like that formula. So let's try a different formula. Let's try Snyder Art 2.0. And what's Dale Earnhardt look like on that? 63.53. See, this looks more like it. This looks better. These are stout. He's going to be super fast in this race. But let's check out a different formula. Let's try the Max Graphics formula for Daytona. Max Graphics Cup full season. Let's try that. I do want to do name and number. And we've got Daytona. Now let's see what that gives us as far as ratings. See, that gives you a wider 48 to 92. It gives you a much wider range that it's going to randomly choose a number from. So it's more left up to chance with this. I mean, this is good for a full season, right? If you're doing a full season and you want them to have an average of it, of the whole, you know, then every race it'll choose a different number. I don't really want it to do that. I want it to be pretty pointed. I want there to be a small window for it to choose from, but I don't want it to be a window that's up near 100, you know, 100 max, like it was with that one duper, the duper one. So I think Snyder Art is going to be the best one for this. So we'll go back, and I'm going to use Snyder Art. I do believe it will be the best. So Snyder Art 2.0 default, yes. We're going to set that as the default formula. And we're set to Daytona. Okay. We're not going to worry about Bobby Hillin. He just missed it. Because he's number 20. Well, Sammy Swindell is in there with number 20. We're not going to have two number 20s running. So, like 91, Ernie Irvan is going to be stout. You know, he's going to be really good. And Bill Elliott is going to be good. Derek Cope is not going to be very good because his reliability is 0 and 10. He had to have, in 91, he probably blew up or wrecked. So a 0 to 10, chances are that car is not going to make it through that race. See, I like that. I like it like that. If they blew up in real life in 91 Daytona 500, I want them to blow up in the game. Darrell Waltrip in 91 did not finish. 0 to 10. And in this particular race, his car is just not good, right? Ricky Rudd had a great car in the 91 Daytona 500, so he's going to be tough. See, this is the best. This is the best way to do it. So we'll go ahead and save the modified cars. Yes. And I want to create roster and call it Daytona 500. Or I'll just call it R1, race 1. R1, boom. Okay. Now I can close that out, and now I'll go back to my folder. Series 91. This can be now renamed. Oops. R1. So that is Daytona. So it should have R1 list. Yeah, right down here, R1 list. Those now are set to Daytona. And this one now, R2, I'll rename R2 just cars. Okay. And minimize that. Go to NRatings. And just do the same thing again. Import, but this time choose race number 2. All the way down to 91. And race number 2, Pontiac. Snyder Art. And go ahead. See, everybody is in the race. It mapped everybody. And it uses, and I know that there's going to be no duplicates because I did it by name and number. It has, they both have to match. Now I'll save modified cars. And we'll create roster of R2. 35 cars. See, there were 35 cars in that race. There'll be 36 with me. I'll be the 36th racer. And what did Earnhardt do in 91 here? He had a great car. He was tough. See, this is the only formula that just like points at the type of track that they're racing. This is a short track. So here in the short track line is where the rating is. Everything else is just generic 20 to 30. But yeah, Earnhardt had a great car. So there you go. Close it out and then rename this back to R2. And just do that all the way down the line, all the way through. And then you'll have your car file. So then when you go to race, you just have to, if you're racing race number 8, you have to have cars for race 8 named cars, right? And then when you get done with that race, you can come back in and rename it cars R8, and then cars R9, you'll just rename that cars for the next race. That's all there is to it. Now, I have made what I call a Cup 90 master mod, an Aero 88 master mod, where I can use the same mod and just change this. I can just go like this, 9 and 2, and save it, and now it's a now it's a CTS mod. Then I can come back in and change it back, and now it's back to a Cup mod. Yeah, and I'm not going to get into how I did that, but yeah, you have to. It's pretty involved. You have to open up the DAT file, and you have to take the main make a files and rename them, and have them all in there, and then recompress the DAT file. I'm not getting into that, but yeah, so I don't have to have 2 mods. I can use one mod and just rename my series.def to reflect if I want it to be a Cup mod or a CTS mod or a GNS mod or whatever, so that's how it'll work. Cool. That's it. I just wanted to document that. I'm going to go ahead and do all of these and get all of my car sets ready to go for the rest of this race. And my Atlanta race will be the first race with this new format of car files and stuff. And you can only do this, really. You can only do this, I believe, if you run your season off of exports and use a race, the race points manager or something like that. I don't think you can do that. I know you can't change from CTS back to Cup and everything, and you're going to corrupt your player file and all of that. When you start messing with the mods and stuff like that, you'll corrupt your player file and it won't work. So this is really the only way to do it, is to keep your points system, keep your points tallied outside of the game like I'm doing. So then you can do this and you can get a better experience, a more real to life experience. So there you go.